Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be doing a lab where it's going to be identification of pH of common household substances. First of all, this is a spot plate. This is a 96 well spot plate. There's 12 rows on this side, and here we have 8 rows on this side. They're identified with 1 to 12 and from A to H. Okay. Each well doesn't contain very much, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding drops with our pipettes. We have our pipettes here, and we're just going to be using quite a few drops, only about 2 drops for each one of the wells, and that's how we're going to be adding. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to be adding here 12 buffers. So in row A1, I'm going to be adding buffer 1, A2, buffer 2, A3, buffer 3, all the way to A12, which is going to be buffer 12. Okay, the buffers are in pipettes. They're all clear, so we're going to start by doing that first. So make sure that when I'm adding this directly into the well, and also that we add only 2 drops. I'm going to be holding the pipette with one hand, with the bulb with one hand, and the other hand I'm just going to be pointing the tip over the well. So it's making sure we don't put the tip inside the well, we're just going to be above the well. So this way I squeeze gently, and then 1, 2 drops in the well. Putting that aside, getting buffer number 2, well number 2, adding 1, 2 drops. Buffer number 3, buffer number 4, buffer number 5, again, it's very important always before you add, you read the label just to make sure it's the right one. Buffer number 6, number 7, 8. Nine, 10, 11, okay, and 12. Okay, it's important that we always put like 2 drops, and it's clearly 2 drops for all of them, just because when we're going to be putting our color, we want to be able to compare the same, and we want to make sure that the colors all end up reacting the same with the same amount, so it's not diluted. Next thing now, I'm going to be adding my bromothermal blue. So this is bromothermal blue indicator. I'm going to be adding 2 drops to each one of the 12 buffers, and therefore we're going to see what color the bromothermal blue is from pH 1 all the way to pH 12. So 2 drops. Again, same thing, holding the bulb in one, the other end in this one, and adding 2 drops each. So here we have it. We have our 12 wells. We added the buffers, and now we've added the bromothermal blue. So let's look at what it looks like with a white background. Maybe you can see the colors better. Oh, there we go. So now, you can actually see, if we need to, we can shake them just a little bit. You can see it goes from all the yellow to green to blue. Good? Perfect. Now comes the time for our household items. So I'm not going to do all of them. I'll just do 2. And then therefore we're going to be able to try to see what range of pH it is. So again, now I take my buffer, I take our household substance, and doesn't matter where, but I'm going to just put it in the first well here in the B. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add 2 drops of it. So this is one of the household items. Put 2 drops in there, and now I put the bromothymol blue. Two drops in there too. Now's the time we compare. Color it became blue, and it became blue just like all of these. So that we can figure out that now this one, which is one of our household items, is the same color as here. So it's the same as anything from 9 to 12, which is a base. So for this one, I would record that it's a base. I would do exactly the same thing with another one. Let me try to get another one. Second one I would do, again, I would do in the next well. And 2 drops. So for this one, we can see it's yellow. Same as anything from here from 2 to 4. 5 is just a different kind of yellowish, but it's about the same thing from, I would say actually more from 1 to 4. So this one, 1 to 4, it's an acid. This one, I record as an acid. Excellent. Now we'll continue doing all 10 of these the same way. 2 drops of our common household substance, 2 drops of the bromothymol blue. Excellent. Okay, now that we've identified all of our solutions based on acid, a base, or neutral, we're going to move on, and we're going to be doing with a more precise indicator, which is going to be the universal indicator. Again, we have to repeat same steps as before. We're going to be putting 2 drops of our buffers from buffer 1 to buffer 12 in our first row, so that we can actually try to figure out what the colors are. So here we go. I'm going to be adding 2 drops. Now, if ever I see that I'm going to get more bubbles than I am going to be getting drops, I can just take my chemical waste, press on it until I have the drops come out, keep pressure on the pipette, and then add the 2 drops into my wells. Now, if ever you made a mistake, so say in here, in this last well, I didn't put in the right solution. Well, we have some special magic erasers for this. The magic erasers, they're called Q-tips. So you take the Q-tip, put it inside, go around, absorb all the liquid that you can from it. And then refill with the correct one. Okay, so you could do that. If you make many mistakes, just use another row. Repeat and use another row. We have plenty of empty rows that we can use. Next, we're going to be adding our universal indicator. Again, same as before, 2 drops to all the wells. Let's look at that with a white background. Now, if ever you think that you've dropped some on the side, you can always, again, use the eraser to wipe it. If you think that they don't look mixed properly, you can always take our little special stirring rod and just go inside and stir it. But make sure you don't reuse this because it's already contaminated. So break it off and you can keep using it and keep mixing for all of the other ones. Okay? Remember, this does not go in the chemical waste. It goes into the trash. So now we have our nice colors. We can actually see very, very pretty colors. It goes from like a good fuchsia to some reds, yellows, greens, blues, and it actually goes down to dark purple. Now we're going to repeat the same thing below as before with our common substances. So let's start with a common substance. Adding 2 drops. And then I add my 2 drops of Universal. I look at it. I look at the color. I'm going to record the color. But then get to compare with the other ones. Well, this is kind of like a blue, darker bluish. You compare with the other ones. Mostly looks like this one. So it's buffer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to say it looks like buffer 9. And that's what I would record. If I do it with a second, keep going. Again, 2 drops of my Universal. Can shake it a little bit, not too much. And then I look the color of it. Well, it's not like this one. It's not like this one. It does look like this one. Yep. So I would say that these two are the same. So pH 1, 2, 3. So for this one, I would actually record it as pH 3. Then I would move on and keep doing all the other 10 common substances. And that's pretty much what the lab is going to be. So you always start off with your buffer, with all 12 of them, all the 12 colors, and then you do one at a time for your common substances. At the same time, you're always comparing to see which color it is, which one it actually matches with, and which pH it is. If you're not sure if it looks kind of between two, you can always record 2 numbers. Okay? Perfect.